Just preparing to live stream the meeting. Okay, so I think we are streaming live on YouTube. With apologies to anyone who's watching, we had a few Zoom problems. I'll just wait a sec for Pete to give us a thumbs up.
Peter's on mute.
Sorry, I'm just getting it looks like it's live streaming, but
yeah, I've got it online. I think we're good.
Right. Okay, good to go.
Right.
Yeah, it's live. Sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It's with a great pleasure I extend a warm welcome to this annual general meeting of the Beaconsfield Society, which is being held virtually because of the coronavirus. We're not having a guest speaker this year. I'm Les Davis, President of the Society. You'll be meeting our Chairman, Alison Wheelhouse, shortly. Other members of the current committee here on screen tonight, perhaps they give us a wave so people can see them. Well done. If I may remind you, the Society's constitution states that the Society is solely instituted to protect the interests of Beaconsfield and its neighbourhood. The Society is non-political. Indeed, our constitution specifically requires party politics shall be excluded. The Society's constitution also requires us to hold an AGM to receive the Society's report and audited accounts, and to elect officers and members of the committee, and that's what we're about tonight. Many of our officers and committee members have other interests, and we are meticulous in capturing these other interests in the form of a register to ensure that our membership of the Society does not result in a conflict of interest. One in particular that has attracted non-members' interest is the election of our chairman, Alison, to the Town Council and the Buckinghamshire Council. This has meant that Alison, despite her expertise, no longer contributes to the Society's deliberations on planning applications. If she was to, then she could be accused by her opponents of being predetermined and not able to play her part in Buckinghamshire Council's planning committee. Tonight you'll hear about a full year of how we've celebrated the past, promoted the present, and are seeking to influence the future. This year, many of our new initiatives have been limited as we emerge from the pandemic, but there were some that Alison will be telling you about. I now introduce you to our Chairman, Alison, to take us through the agenda. Over to you, Alison.
Thank you very much, Les. We've just got a couple of items of business before I give my chairman's report. So I just need to ask Rachel, our secretary, if we have any apologies for absence.
No apologies.
Brilliant. And next, we need to agree the minutes of the last AGM. Does anybody have any comments or questions on the minutes, or can these be accepted?
Nope. And just to report, the committee also reviewed the minutes at the meeting after the AGM last year and also agreed.
Great, thanks very much. Moving on to my report. So welcome everybody to our second virtual AGM. Let's hope that next year we'll be able to meet again face to face. I really do hope so. But despite various lockdowns over the past year, I'm pleased to report that it's been another incredibly busy year for the Society. The planning team, headed by Michael Lisher, is always really busy looking at every planning application which is submitted in the town and submitting objections where it's valid to do so. The most noteworthy application recently has been the application for 450 new homes on the Greenbelt, next to the 350 home scheme at Wilton Park. Michael, Paul and the team submitted an objection and also engaged the Society's planning consultants to submit an expert report too. That application hasn't yet gone before the Strategic Sites Committee Council, but Michael, Paul and the team will be fully engaged on that issue. The town has seen a couple of applications for 15-metre tall 5G mobile phone masts, one on the corner of Owl's Ears Close and the other on the corner of Burgess Wood Road South. Both applications have been rejected. And there's also been an application to convert one semi-detached house on Chesterton Green into 3 flats, including the garden being divided into 3. And that application was also rejected. Those are just a couple of examples of ones where the Society has objected. And please don't think that you as a community have no voice, because as you can see, together we can make a difference. The Society also submitted a response to the government's consultation on the future of the planning system. In particular, we commented on the mutant formula for calculating housing need numbers, and the Society is mentioned at several points in the government's report on its consultation. We'll see what Michael Gove decides to do about the formula going forwards. We've also commented on the government's expansion of permitted development rights. Now, these rights enable various businesses, offices and retail shops to change their use to residential use without the need to seek planning consent for that change of use. An example is the office block on Horseshoe Crescent, which now has planning consent to change its use to 27 flats. And this was without the need going through the formal planning consent procedure. It now looks likely that Bucks Council will work towards making something called an Article 4 direction, which would prevent this circumvention of the planning system, and that these applications in the future will require planning permission. This means that the community will have a say going forwards when sites apply for permission for change of use. We also submitted a second application to list the Park Lane allotments as an asset of community value with the help of a barrister. Unfortunately, the application was refused. Bucks Council accepted the owner's case that the site would be reverted to agricultural use. We've recently been informed that someone has submitted a Freedom of Information request to see our application to list the allotments. I wonder why that will be. This year, we launched our Love Beaconsfield initiative, led by Paul Ormston, to show Beaconsfield a little TLC. So far, we've held 2 litter picks this year, which have been really well attended. And we've also delivered letters to all high street businesses in the town with a polite request that each business looks after the patch of pavement in front of its store. We're pleased to report that this did result in an improvement to the weeds situation, which we hope will continue. The Love Beaconsfield team will be out again this weekend on Saturday to plant spring bulbs. So please join us if you can at 10 AM on Saturday on the Sealeys Road, Penn Road corner for bulb planting. And please bring your gloves, trowel and kneeler if you use one. This year we've also published our Enjoy Beaconsfield cycles map in conjunction with the Cycle Paths Action Group. And we're working on a 3rd map which will showcase historical and literary walks around the town. This one's being prepared in conjunction with the Historical Society and Kari Dawn. Our thanks go to Kirsty Godfrey at Capella Design for the really attractive design of our maps, which are looking great. We've also run the successful Beck Tech for Schools campaign this year, organised by Simon Wolfe, who organised the collection of unwanted laptops, which were then donated to the Beaconsfield School. Really important when school children were studying from home and households needed extra laptops. We're also currently running our Bring Back the Blossom campaign once again. So if you'd like to order a blossom tree for your garden, please email us. There's a discount for members and we are accepting orders up until November the 20th. Our colleague, Claire Yabsley, has been working on a really helpful tree planting guide, which is currently waiting approval by the Town Council, which may inspire you to organise tree planting on your road. Claire and Kari organised the wonderful planting of the new Sandalswood End trees. Also, our social media grows daily in popularity under the leadership of Peter Foster. This really does take a lot of work to curate and find interesting content for you every day, and it really shows. Our social media pages are looking great and attracting new followers every day, and we are now on Nextdoor too, so take a look. I must give my heartfelt thanks to my wonderful committee for all their efforts this year, and to all of you, our members, for your support. Without your support, we wouldn't be here. Now more than ever, the town needs its civic society, as together we have a stronger voice. So please renew your subscriptions, tell your neighbours and friends about us, and please get in touch if you fancy joining us on the committee. And I have to say, a subscription to the society, it's only £10 for the year, and it would make concludes my quick jog through what we've been working on this year, and now I will hand over to Kate for her Treasurer's report.
Thanks, Alison, and good evening, everybody. I'd just like to start off by thanking Stella Donoghue, who did her annual review of our accounts. Thanks to Stella, I think it's the third year now she's done it, so we really appreciate it. We didn't have any questions this evening on the numbers that was the accounts rather that were circulated to members before the meeting. But we've just put a couple of slides together just to give you a sense of what's going on. So we ended the year in a really strong financial position. We've got around about £64,000 in cash, of which about 19 is our general funds. The increase, which is about 4,000, mainly came because we had a large increase in our membership, and that was because the people who we gave free membership to the previous year, about 250 of those people decided to continue their membership and to pay us for it, pay the society for it. So we're really, really grateful to them and to all of our members. We've got over 530 members now, individuals and households. As Alison said, we did a number of things during the year, but far less than we would normally do in a standard year without COVID getting in the way, which means we've got more in the bank than we would normally have. The main thing that we spent, apart from running our normal running costs, was on the Enjoy Beaconsfield cycle path maps, which Alison also mentioned. So if we could just flip to the next slide, please, Rachel. The next slide just looks at the green belt. I'll just speak as it's coming up. The next slide looks at the green belt funds. We haven't had really any activity on the green belt this year, but we did use some of the funds to fight the action against, to challenge the eviction of the allotment holders, or to challenge the, to challenge council's refusal to let the Old Town allotments be an asset of community value. So we've got at the end of the year about 45,000 in our Greenbelt Fund, and we're obviously retaining that for future fights. As Alison mentioned, the plans for the area around Wilter Park continue to come forward, so the fight is still on. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kate. And thanks to Kate for all her hard work this year. And I propose that we accept the accounts having previously been circulated to the members, and no questions have been submitted on them. So may I have a seconder, please?
I'm happy to second, Alison.
Wonderful, thank you very much. So we can accept the accounts. And I can now hand over to our Secretary, Rachel Ferguson, again for the election of the officers and the committee. Over to you, Rachel.
Thanks, Alison. So this year, again, we did voting electronically in advance of the AGM for the officers and the committee, which meant that even if people couldn't make it along this evening, they got to cast their vote. So we had 151 members who voted this year. So thank you very much to all of you for taking the time to do that. We did have one question from the membership about the committee being voted for en bloc rather than individually, which is something which actually is suggested in our constitution for administrative ease, really. But we're happy to consider this for next year. So thank you for that suggestion. There was only one nomination for chair, which was Alison Wheelhouse, who was proposed by Kate MacLeod and seconded by Peter Foster. And I'm pleased to say that Alison was unanimously re-elected via the advanced vote. There was one nomination for secretary, which was myself, Rachel Ferguson, proposed by Alison Wheelhouse and seconded by Michael Lisher. And I was also unanimously re-elected by the advanced vote. And we also had one nomination for Treasurer, which was Kate MacLeod, proposed by myself, Rachel Ferguson, and seconded by Simon Wolfe. And Kate was also unanimously re-elected by the advanced vote. So thank you all for that. We also have our committee members who were nominated en bloc, who are remaining on the committee. So that's Michael Lisher, Paul Ormston, Peter Foster and Simon Wolfe. And they were proposed en bloc by Alison Wheelhouse even, and seconded by Kate MacLeod. And again, pleased to say the new committee were re-elected with 99% of the vote, again by the advanced vote. So the committee will all continue, as will the officers, for the coming year. So just want to thank you very much for taking the time to vote. And back to Alison.
Thank you, Rachel. In fact, I think Rachel is the only officer I haven't yet thanked individually, and I would like to express my very grateful thanks to her. She works very hard behind the scenes to keep everything shipshape and running smoothly and efficiently. So thank you, Rachel. Now we come on to my favourite bit of the evening, the Society's annual awards. Each year we have 4 categories of awards now, and these are Citizen of the Year, Business of the Year, Community Building of the Year and Building of the Year. This year we're not awarding a Building of the Year category, but we do have awards for the other 3 categories. As always, it has been very difficult to select the winners, as there were many great nominations, but the winners are, drum roll please, the Community Building of the Year award goes to the Malthouse Square Playground, which is being rejuvenated by the Town Council. It's not quite finished, but it's well on the way to completion and it's looking really amazing. Thanks to everyone at the council, including Jeanette Buckle, Alexa Collins and Tracy Ward. And you can see Tracy there with her certificate and some of the playground equipment which has already been installed, and a CGI picture of what it's going to look like, and it looks terrific. So many congratulations to all at the Town Council. The next award up is the award for Business of the Year, and this goes to the Beaconsfield Tuesday Market. The kit looks absolutely fantastic and it's really buzzing every Tuesday. It's a great asset to the town and a fantastic community amenity. During the COVID lockdowns, the essential stalls such as Andy Savage's household store and Crawford's fruit and veg stall kept on going and were an enormous help to all of us. Andy Savage, you can see him there with the certificate and also with Hayley Crawford. Andy in particular has been instrumental in the market's success and it really is looking great. I heartily recommend the market to you. Somebody said to me the other day that they didn't realise that Beaconsfield had a market. So if you've never been, please get down there on Tuesdays and see it all in action. I do know that Andy would like to thank Therese Cooklin and her community magazine, Beaconsfield Together. The market is on the front page of the Christmas edition of the magazine, and that's well worth a read. The final award tonight is the award for Citizens of the Year. And this year, this goes to Nanu and Andy Hodson. Both Nanu and Scout leader Andy have been involved with the Cubs and Scouts for many, many years. Andy for 14 years and Nanu for 12 years. Nanu has also worked since 2003 on 2 PTAs at St Mary's School and the Beaconsfield School. She was instrumental with Debbie Marsden in organising the Beaconsfield Society's Beaconsfield Awareness Days, which more recently became known as the Beaconsfield Now Family Days, to showcase the town's charitable and other societies and organisations. Nanu was also involved in setting up the Beaconsfield Festival and working on Vision for Beaconsfield. Perhaps you can all join me now in congratulating the winners with a round of applause. That wraps up the awards section. So congratulations to all of our wonderful winners. Next on the agenda, it is any other business. So does anybody have anything that they would like to raise? No, good to hear. So now I can hand back to Les to close the meeting, and thank you very much to everybody, and I do look forward to seeing you in person soon. Over to Les.
Thank you, Alison. I'd like to close this AGM with a few thanks. Thank you for all attending virtually. Thank you those who voted, and particularly thanks to all of you who are viewing our AGM on YouTube. Thank you all very much, and a safe good night.
Good night, everybody.